Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast Nail the Sale. Today, I have a legend with me, Joel. Welcome, Joel. You started a closer as a closer, and you now own Nomadic Closer. We can see it at the back. Um, you place sales teams, you manage them, and you run a job board as well. I'm a part of that too. Like I'm in the community. So today, I want this to help closers win, right? If someone's listening, wants more money, better offers, and long-term growth, this is for them. Sounds good?
Let's do it. Let's do it, bro. Before we even start anything, I just want to say congrats,
Yes.
right? I've like
Thank you.
we've been following each other for a long time. I remember the
Yeah.
first intro video that I saw of you and like where you
Oh,
are
yes.
today. It's such a huge gap. You've come a long
I
way. So
appreciate that.
congrats, bro.
Thank
I
you. And
love
I
it.
remember that when first time you said, bro, I'm starting this community. You share with a lot of other people, your friends, closers, and all that? And I remember I did. You also came a very long way. Not me only, but you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you came from, and where you currently at, what's going on right now. A lot of
Let's
people
do
want to
it.
know
Let's
that.
do it. Good stuff. Good stuff. So first of all, a lot of people that listen to my accent, they think I'm from Australia. I'm not Australian. I'm from London, right? So
Yeah.
quick insight. I lived in Spain for 22 years. Then I started traveling the world, Dubai, Bali. And I was always kind of chasing this dream of like living abroad, living remote. And the only thing that could really allow me to live that life was through high ticket sales.
Yeah.
So invested all the money that I didn't have into a sales course. And I want to quickly talk about that real quick, right? Because and we spoke about this years ago. I lost my business during COVID and I went 26 grand in debt. 26 grand.
Mm.
And at that point I had to move back in with mom and dad, being
And
a
that's US dollars,
30
right?
30 US dollars, yeah. And that was as a 33-year-old, right? So
Okay.
which is quite tough. And I started getting onto this whole online world, started selling on a dating coaching program. And I was making like 2-3 grand a month. And someone told me about Jeremy Minor. And I'm like, Jeremy Minor, right? I jumped into his
Yeah.
Facebook group and I started like watching all these like free videos. And for some reason, I wasn't getting any better. And I'm like, well, if he's giving out all this like free material, what is his paid stuff like? So I booked a
Yeah.
call. And on this call, I spoke to the closer back then was Bill Walsh, right?
Whoa.
So yeah,
Okay.
so before
Okay.
before Bill Walsh had the objection box, he was working for seventh level with Jerry Minor.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it was so funny because I remember jumping on the call with him and like you could see he was new in the industry and I could see him like reading his script, um, which was quite cool. But one thing he said that wasn't scripted, and shout out to Bill Walsh for telling me this,
For sure. For sure.
he said something to me that completely transforms my life and where I am today. He said, Joel, he said, listen, you told me you're in debt. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, so realistically, how long is it going to take you to get out of debt if you continue doing the same thing? I said, I don't know, 8 months. He said, well, due to my calculations, it's not going to be 8 months. It's going to be longer. He said, fine. He said, 8 months.
Okay.
He said, if there was a way to get out of debt faster, do you want to have that conversation? I was like, yeah, man, let's do it. And he said, have you ever considered going into more debt to get out of debt faster? And I'm thinking, what are you, a fucking idiot? Why would I want to go into more debt? He said, and then he saw my reaction and he was like, well, Joe, if there was a way, like, should we explore together? Anyway, when we explored, I got 10 grand between my mum, my grandma, and my great uncle.
My
got the
God.
money. Now I'm 36 grand in debt.
Oh my God.
And then I got out of debt in 3.5 months. That was it. I was out of debt 3.5 months. So I think a lot of people in the high ticket space, are scared to invest, are scared of the what if. But I
Yeah.
always say, if you're a closer, how can you sit there on the other side of a screen and ask someone to invest, get uncomfortable if you've never done it yourself, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I really feel like that's what separates a lot of closers from people that just never really make it. But how did I
Yeah.
become the recruiter, right? How did we
Yeah. That's what I was about to ask.
become
Yeah. That's right.
so so from 2017 to 2021 sold about $23 million. So I was one of the top closers out there.
Mm.
But I got to a point where I was living the life I wanted. I was, I had the money I wanted, and there was no fulfillment in my life. And I was really trying to
Fulfillment.
figure out, like, the more money you make, there's only extra ones and zeros in the bank. Like I could still do the same things, but those things didn't make me happy. You know,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
and then I remember I was laying in bed one day, and I got my biggest paycheck ever, and I'm looking at my bank account, and I started crying, right? But not with happiness, just with like, oh, my whole life I wanted to make 10 grand a month. Now I made like 6 times as much, and it still doesn't make me any happier. So I started going down a long journey of discovery. What is my mission, vision, value, and purpose?
Wow.
And I came across a very good friend of mine who's very respected in the industry, Raj Dulai, who
Hmm.
really taught me the importance of being in service to others.
Okay.
Right now, the interesting thing was I always did a bit of charity, but I didn't understand why I was doing it. I just thought I had to do it because that's what people do. But then when I met him, we started building schools, houses, libraries, doing feeds around the world. In Bali, I think we built like 78 houses.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, like what so many closers have been doing is they've been so focused on trying to sell, trying to, commission breath, get the deal over the
Yeah.
line. But I thought, well, what if we get closers to understand that they can truly make more money and help more people by being in service?
Mhm.
So then I thought, well, how can I actually share what my experience is with other closers, and how can I get really good closers on really good offers? How can I prevent really good closers jumping on shit offers, or how can I,
Mhm.
how can I kind of mitigate risk to do the other way around? So then I started a recruitment agency in 2021. And I wanted to call
Yeah.
it something that represented me, nomad, traveling around the
Yes.
world, nomadic closer, bam. So that's how it started in
Mhm.
2021. And then we started a
Yeah.
sales coaching program.
Oh,
And part
yes.
of the coaching program, it was one of the questions that we had before someone signed up to our sales academy was, what are you doing for charity? Right. And I know it's a very interesting thing, but what we wanted people to understand is once you do charity work, once you are in service to others with no expectation in return, right? Let's say you go on a Saturday or a Sunday and you do a feed for 1,000 people, right?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
giving out food. Thank, thank you, with no expectation in return.
Yeah.
What happens is you tap into this energy of giving to give with no expectations in return. When you tap
That's
into that
right.
energy and then you jump onto a sales call and you're truly there to help that person, whether they buy or
Mhm.
not, you're there in service to them.
Mhm.
That's when you start finding fulfillment. That's when you start making more money. That's when you start transforming more lives. So, and I mean, now it's Ramadan, and I think now is a very important time to listen to this as well.
Very
There's a lot of
important.
people
Yeah,
out there
absolutely.
that aren't, they're not in a position where they can feed their families. It's about
That's
giving,
right.
right? So
That's right.
It's a super important time to mention it. So
Absolutely. And what I
now,
believe is, and what I believe is, Joel, because since I know you for a while now, it's like since 2020, 2021. The thing is, of course, I know you've been doing some amazing stuff. And if I talk about myself, I remember I was just filling that application, and there was this question, what do you do for charity? Right. And I never told you about that, but I was speaking with Safi, and we were having a conversation like last year, and right after the call, he was like, I was thinking, okay, if I am not physically giving anything to somebody and actually not helping them and making a lot of money, like we're working from Pakistan, right, and making shit ton of money, right, and then just having fun with it and don't care about if some people are dying because of hunger or the clean water or the food, right? And in Ramadan specifically, I tried my level best. I just aimed it like these many families are my responsibility at least, right? And I've been doing it from last 3 years. And of course, I will do it this year as well. And every month, I actually go out and provide for the food and stuff like that. Whatever I can do, what's in my range, right? That is actually that system installed sales as a service business model in my mind, right? So that was a very amazing topic you just started. But of course, before we get emotional, what do you think? Like, what mistakes do closers make when they try to level up? Because you leveled up.
are you talking about closers that are already making money and like what's the next step, or how to
Yeah.
become a good closer?
How to become a good closer first. And the second letter will be just like somebody, if you talk about me, I'm closing full time, right? And I want to close full time until unless I know, I need to go to the next level. What
Well, let's
mistakes?
break it down. Let's break it down because it goes into a few steps. Why
Yeah.
was I able to make the money I made in those three
Mm,
years that I was just full-time closing? Did I make all that money from all the calls landing onto my lap? Absolutely not. Did I make all
okay.
that money because I didn't pay for coaching? I paid for coaching. But what did I do that most people don't do? What did I do differently that most closers never even do? So I'm going to break it down. The first thing, absolutely, every closer needs to invest in the right coach. Now, don't invest into a sales coach that you've just met. Try and figure out a sales coach that you can relate to, a sales coach that is living the life that you're living, has the things that you want and you admire, because you need
Yeah.
to make sure that your energy aligns. And at the same time,
Mm,
you feel like that coach can teach you how to be you, not them. The biggest issue that China is, although his script is phenomenal, everyone ended up sounding like Jeremy,
oh yeah, I've
right?
been there.
So there we go. So step number one is, when you do find your coach, even if it is Jeremy Minor, right? Even if it is, the hundreds of sales coaches out there, how can you truly understand what you need to do and turn it into your unique self? How can you be your
Yes.
unique self? How can you adapt or adopt that script into the way that you present yourself, the way you talk, your body language, your tonality? Like, how can you make it so you that it makes it natural? That's the
Yeah.
first step.
Mm,
And I think a lot of these younger closers coming in, I
mm,
I listen I listen to so many sales calls
hmm.
and intro videos on a daily basis. I can close my
Yeah,
eyes and
yeah.
I can be like, you got trained by Cole Gordon, you got trained by Bill Walsh, you got trained by
Yeah.
Kurt. Like I just know. How can you not sound like them? So that's the first step, is be yourself,
Whoa.
but
Okay.
understanding what you need
How
to
to
do,
be yourself. Simple.
how to be yourself. Yeah.
Mm,
The second step after that, I would say, is now that you're truly able to have conversations, because it's interesting. There's three types of sales coaches. One says you need a script. The other one says you need a framework. The other one says you just need to know how to have a good conversation. The scriptless selling. It's all the same. You need to have a script to understand a framework, and you need to have a framework to understand how to have a good conversation. It's just different marketing. It's the same thing, right? So I think it's really important to understand that. Now that you can have good conversations, how can you put the outcome aside, right? So I talked about before, how can we be in service to others? Whether they buy from us or they don't, how can we make sure that it's our responsibility for them to take action to change their lives, whether it's with us or someone else? Because maybe what we're selling isn't what they need.
Okay.
Which leads on to the third point, which is how can you truly understand what they're looking for?
Yes.
And then if you can't provide it, who in your network can help them with what they need? Right? Which turns into what? It turns into your network and your referrals. So now on a larger scale, right? So on a larger scale, now we need to think, okay, how can I % close rates with every conversation we have? And I want people to listen to this.
Yeah.
How can we have a 90% close rate? How could I make more money than most closers, than 99% of the closers out there, is by having that 90% close rate mindset. So whether I meet someone in the gym, whether I meet someone on, in the airport's lounge, whether I meet someone at a network meeting or a client or another closer or a business owner, as a closer, when you get to a certain level, you realize, oh my God, I'm great at having conversations. I'm great at discovering and getting people to talk about themselves and their problems.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I know their problems and I have a network of people that can help them. So all of a sudden, you now become a connector.
Oh, yes. Because you started living sales. You're not just like hopping on a call, closing your eyes and reading the script. You're actually living sales, and you are actually helping people and actually helping yourself with this conversation, learning. Actually, that is the point. Learning the right conversation.
Exactly. Learning the right questions. Learning the right questions. Yeah, absolutely. So then we need to think about this. There's a difference between your network, which is your phone book, and networking. Your network is your phone book, is your contact list, your Facebook contact list, your LinkedIn contact list, whatever it is. That is your network. You don't want to be a network. You want to be someone who does networking. So what is the difference between network and networking? Networking is networking your network. Networking your network. So anyone who says I can't make money drives me absolutely insane. It's like, bro, you have gold right under your feet. I don't care who you are, what position, what situation you are in the world. You're standing on a mountain of gold. All you need to do is just have someone to be like, hey, I'm going to give you a shovel. Start digging because gold's under you. If someone doesn't give you that shovel and tell you to start digging, you're never going to know. So what I'm here to tell everyone is everyone's standing on a pile of gold. All you need to do is know how to get that shovel and start digging, right? So how can you do that? Figure out how or who in your network does what. What do they do? How do they help people? What are their bottlenecks? Start networking. So if I shared you my calendar in January, I did 6 calls a day. 5 calls were networking. 1 was a sales call. Right? I mean,
wow.
We're fortunate. We have a 97% close rate. So like
Mm-hmm.
That's all we can handle. But
Mm-hmm.
out of the 6, 5 were networking calls, right?
Mm.
Jumping on calls. Hey, what you up to? How can I help you? How can I be in service? What are you looking for? Right?
I
How
was
can I
one of
add
them. I know.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
If we
Yeah.
come from a place of like wanting to provide value and be in service with no attachment, right? All of a sudden, few things are going to happen. People
Mm.
are going to realize that you have a contact list. People are going to
Mm-hmm.
realize that you are the connector. And it doesn't matter if you're a
Mm.
setter, a closer, a CSM, a sales manager, and you think you have nothing to give. The most
Mm.
valuable thing you can have is a contact list.
Yeah. And you become a connector by yourself. Like there is actually proper business model of connecting only, right? Referring. I was just watching a video on YouTube, and that guy, like it was a podcast. They asked, like, what do you do? He said, I connect. And he said, how much do you make? He's like, I make like 1 million or so every month from just connecting, but my business is real estate.
Yeah.
So he was like doing that. Yeah. And Joel, I have a question because a lot of people breaking into the industry now, right? And the most difficult thing for any setter or closer is to get hired, to get clients, right? So, I mean, you've been watching a lot of videos every day from a lot of closers and setters who they're trying to get in. I mean, what makes you say yes to one closer and no to another?
First of all, 97% of everyone who sends in an application gets rejected. 97%. So imagine only
Very huge
3%.
percentage.
It's ridiculous, right? Only
Ridiculous.
3% of people that send in applications get interviewed, not lands jobs, but gets interviewed,
Okay.
right? So then
Okay.
now you have to think, okay, so what percentage of those 3% land the role? 20%?
Yeah.
It's crazy. So how, first of all, the question is, how can you be amongst the 3% that land the interviews, not land the roles, but lands the interviews? That's the first
Yeah.
thing.
Who you said yes because you're a recruiting company, right? You said
Exactly.
yes, I will present you, right? I mean,
Exactly.
what does that look like for you? Like, who's that person?
So the first thing, and I'm going to break this down again. Step number one,
Mhm.
how can you be professional? Right? Because
Okay.
what you need to understand is you are the business card of the potential company you're working for. If you send
Yes.
an intro video vertical on your phone,
Yeah.
terrible lighting, terrible background, terrible mic, terrible video, you are representing or potentially representing that client. So if a recruiter or the
Mm.
client sees a shit video, excuse my language, because
No,
I
it's
need to
okay.
get this out, right?
Hmm.
If you have a terrible intro video and it looks bad, you're going to get rejected, right?
Yeah.
If you're even if you've already sold $2 million, $3 million, and you send a terrible intro video, we live in a trust recession. So how can you stand out? How can you sound good, look good, express yourself well with no stutters,
Mm.
no ums and ahs? The other day, someone sent me a message saying, "Oh, I worked for Seventh Level. Can I send you my intro video?" I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Okay.
My reply to him, I actually got the transcript. I put into Chat GPT, and I said, "Bro, you said r 68 times. I don't care who the fuck you worked for. You're
Yeah.
not getting a job from us." Right?
Mhm.
So first of all, you're going into an industry where trust recession is an all-time high. So you need a good mic, you need good camera, you need good lighting, you need to turn up well, you need to know what to say, right? So that's step one,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, that's
Now
step
step
one.
two
Yeah.
is what do you say? So a lot of these new closers coming in, they obviously have a challenge,
Mhm.
right? The best thing that I have seen and we recommend is if someone brand new wants to jump in and be a closer straight away, has no experience, dialing, has no experience using a CRM, has no experience as a setter, you're not going to probably get a job as a closer. Like especially in today's market, it's very unlikely. It's not impossible,
Yes.
but if you have no experience,
Yes.
if you've never done door to door, cold calling, very, very small.
So
So
what are
what I
they going to do
suggest,
like for the first 30 days to actually, because they want to also make that kind of money, right? They also want to get into remote high ticket sales.
exactly. Best way is, hey, I'm super hungry. I've paid for training. Uh, Again, if you haven't paid for training and you've never had a coach and you want to get in today's market, forget about it. Like, I'm not going to
Okay.
hire you, right?
Okay.
Maybe other recruiters will, but I'm not going to touch anyone that
Mm.
has never invested in themselves. I'm very adamant on that.
Because
The
they're
other thing,
not invested themselves, right? Because they
they're
never
not
invested.
invested. They like I mentioned at the beginning of the call, is if
Yeah.
you've never invested yourself, how can you ask someone to invest in themselves? There's no
Yeah,
congruency.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, congruency. You came out of the debt to go into the debt again. And that is a crazy story, by the way, but that's amazing story as well. That's an inspiration for somebody who says like, I don't want to invest, but I want to make money. But so yeah.
There you go. It's so true. So my suggestion is, if you've had the training, start as a setter, start as a dialer, or reach out to companies and say, hey, I'm super hungry. Let me come in and let me dial all your old leads. I'm gonna
Mm,
reactivate them, right? Because you
mm,
get practice on using a CRM, on dialing, getting confident, getting into the motion of it's okay to get rejected,
yeah,
right?
it's okay.
And then once you and because if a business owner is paying for leads, they don't want to burn leads just because you want to go and practice. No, a business owner would be happy to give you leads that didn't close or never showed up. If you jump in and
Mm,
reactivate them, then it's extra money that they lost. Now it's time to prove yourself, and then you can slowly start moving up. That's the best way. Like at the moment, we have an offer where it's upselling supplements that's already been bought, right? It's
yeah.
outbound phone calling. There's plenty of those. I know
Mm.
Committed Coaches, as an example, is
I've
another
been
company.
killing it there right now.
There it is. There it is. That's
All
what it
right.
is.
I
So
like
that's
October,
where
it
I'd
was like
start.
14K months for like last and then last month it was like 9K month. So yeah, I mean there is opportunity, of course, if you're a
If you're
hustler.
just starting, like if you people that want to get into this industry, if you don't want to put in the hours, if you think it's going to be easy, don't jump in, because
It's
it's
not gonna
not
work.
easy to. If you want to stand out, you got to put in the weekends. If you think you're just going to travel around working 5 hours a day, taking calls from the beach, it's not going to happen at the beginning. It's not,
It's not gonna happen.
right? You need to
Mm,
put in the hours.
absolutely.
I mean, it took me a good year and a half before I started taking 6 calls a day. When I was a
Mm,
closer, I took so the last year I was a closer, I only took 5 calls a day because I
mm,
knew that if I took more, my energy was low, I couldn't perform, but I had a 73% close rate on the 73% close rate on the last offer that I had. So I was happy. I could travel around, I could live that life, right? But
mm.
it takes a bit of time to get there.
Of course.
So
And last question I have here is which is very important. If you had to start again from zero, right? What would you do first?
invest a mentor as soon as possible. If I didn't have the money, I'd work weekends. I was trying to get loans. I'll put it on credit cards. Whatever I need to do, I would invest into a mentor so I can get there faster. That's the first thing I would do. And that's
Okay.
so many people are like, yeah, I know, but I don't have the money to invest into a mentor. Well, that's why you don't have money, right?
Mm.
So if you really want to get out of the situation you're in, you're going to have to find the money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Joel, this was actually strong. So if someone wants to work with your agency or find jobs on your board, like where should they go? I mean, what they need to do?
We only recruit closers that have experience. just because of the way our model works. We don't hire new closers.
Yeah.
Business owners want to work with us because they know we don't hire new closers. So anyone
Absolutely.
that wants to look at our job board, it's job.nomadiccloser.com.
Link
So
is in the
job.
description, guys.
There you go. Easy.
Yep.
Easy. But for those who are looking for the right coaches, I mean, go onto Instagram, type in, you know, sales coaches, sales mentors, try and figure out a style that you like, a style that you think would resonate.
Do you guys train too?
We like not anymore. Not anymore. We
Not
closed
anymore.
that down.
Okay, so you don't have.
We closed that down 6 months ago just to purely focus on recruitment. We offer it for our clients. So if clients want us to come in and train their teams, that's what we do. But we don't train groups in our community anymore. However, we have, and this is a coincidence being on here. We're just about to launch our brand new community, which is launching in a couple of days. We've done the soft launch.
Okay.
We're going to do the official launch in 10 days. And still trying to figure out the name. I think it's going to be called Nomadic Closer Placement Accelerator.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you mentioned on Facebook, I think, that you're thinking about it. It's good. Guys, keep an eye on Joel's profile, especially on Facebook and Instagram. He's pretty active. And hey, Joel, thank you. Thank you so much for hopping on today. That was an amazing conversation. And it's going to be helpful for people who are trying and hustling, right? So I really appreciate it. What is your last short message for anybody who's watching, even if they're experienced or they're watching because they love you, or if they are just like breaking into the industry?
If you're breaking into the industry, join the community. If you're seasoned, jump into the community because we're going to be teaching about networking and how to make more money outside of networking. So I'm really plugging in my community because I've been part of almost every community out there. I've spent just under $400,000 on mentors and masterminds. So I'm getting everything, all the best from each place that I've been. So we have things from, you know, how to prepare for interviews. We have a setter coach, we have a sales coach, we have networking coach, and we have so much more that we're going to add. We're even getting health and peptides in there. Like it's going to be crazy.
It is going to be crazy because Joel, if you guys don't know, he's not an ordinary guy. He's on our podcast. That's an honor for us. All right, guys. Hey, thank you, Joel. It was a huge value. Appreciate that.
Appreciate it.